It's official. It's the fall equinox and we're moving into a new season. And ever since I moved back to Minneapolis, I have really been embracing a seasonal lifestyle again. And what I'm really excited about is new ideas in my business, new things to share with all of you. It's a kind of dreary, rainy day, and it's a great day to record this podcast as well as edit a bunch of videos that I shot last week for a course that I've just created, which you'll hear about very soon. And today on the podcast, what I'm going to be going into is really the next level of technology to use in your business. So if you didn't listen to my previous episode, I talk about some of the foundational tech tools where I believe you should start in your business. So go back and have a listen to that and then come and join me for this episode. I am sharing these tech tools, platforms, benefits with you because I don't want you to make some of the mistakes that I did early on in my business with investing in platforms that I didn't really need in my iteration of my business. I've since really scaled back what I'm using because I believe the least amount of platforms and the least amount of software and the least amount of monthly subscriptions is a really thoughtful way to approach your business, because there was a point where I had all the tools and all the things, and then I really looked at what I was spending on all these things that I thought I needed to have in my business. And a couple months ago, I kind of trimmed the fat on where I thought I wanted to be in my business presently versus where I'm going. But right now, I want to use the least amount of tools with the most amount of impact. So let's get into the episode. You've built your website, you've got an email, you've got your Canva, you're on the socials, and you want to sell a course, or you want to sell a membership, or you want to sell a masterclass. Course platforms, this is where we talk about your Teachable, your Kajabi, your Squarespace. Why I like these platforms is it is easy templates and layouts to create and sell these courses, masterclasses, and memberships. It's all set up to receive payments. There is barrier walls to make sure that the person is not sharing this information with 10 of their friends. And something with this is what I mentioned before. There are very different price points for these platforms. And for those of you who want to do your first course on Kajabi, that's cool. Do you have the community and the clients that want to purchase it? I think a really good starting place if you're new to courses is Teachable has a really great entry-level option. If you want a more robust platform, Kajabi, of course. Something that I am using now and have always used is Squarespace, but Squarespace just launched a course template and functionality on their website, and this is kind of bringing back to the least amount of platforms. So I host this podcast on my website through Squarespace. Now I'm building a course presently that is going to be built and created and sold on my Squarespace website. And I'm not having to add a lot of, to do my podcast was no additional fee. There's a tiny additional fee for me to use the Squarespace course option, but nothing that is crazy. What I want you to think about is where you are at in your business, where you want your customers to be in their journey with you. And any of these templates would be great, but it's learning a new skill set, it's learning a new platform, so keep that in mind as you're building out. If you're curious, I am playing around in Squarespace and I find it very easy, and it stays with the branding that's already I've created on my website, and it just leads people back to see all the other service offerings and all the other things that I provide in one-stop shop. Now, this isn't an ad for Squarespace. This is simply me sharing with you how I like to run my business. Simplicity is key. One thing that is going to be a great growth tech tool is scheduling software. This is your Calendly, your Acuity. Why I love scheduling software, it's so easy. It's an automated scheduling of your service offering. Folks from all over the world can book with you, and you're not having to go back and forth and figure out really complicated timelines and time zones and days of the week. I know when I am attempting to book with my clients in Australia, or even my coach friends in Australia to do, podcast episodes or teach for them, it is a little bit of a nuance what side of Australia they're on, what's the timeline, and then going like the other direction to Europe. It just helps everyone know they're on the same page with the agreement for the date and the time, and it's been a very easy way for folks to book with me in a few simple steps. There's a little bit for any of this of like having a nice calendar that you have set up right, so things aren't getting double booked in your calendar. But once you sort that out, it's so easy. Like, even if I know I'm going to have dinner and I know I have time in my calendar that's open for clients, I'll just block it off when it happens so that people can't book in those times I'm not available. Now, I originally started my journey into the scheduling software, the Calendly, and if you're new, this is definitely a great place for you to start. I feel like it's very easy, very user-friendly to get going, and actually, currently, I'm definitely considering moving back to Calendly because I just like the simplicity of it. I use Acuity presently, and the reason I did it was because I wanted all the whistles and bells and all the automation and all the way that I just wanted a more robust scheduling software, and what I have found is I don't think I really need it, but I'm keeping with it right now. But I'm definitely on the fence about moving back to Calendly and something just a little bit simpler to work with. And this is definitely something, if you're offering a service, like a one-to-one, I really suggest you move into this. The price points aren't really crazy to add this into your business model, and it has generated the most amount of income in my business because I'm a projector. I like one-to-ones. I love getting to know people. I'm line 4. I'm a 4/6 in human design, so engaging with my close community is something I really thrive on. And frankly, I'm just a people person, and I love that one-to-one connection. All right, so another thing as we move into another step of our business is communication platforms. This is your Zoom, your Google Meet, your Skype. I use Zoom. What's really great is people have access to you via video. You have the ability to record sessions. This is where you can teach all your classes, and you can teach to folks all over the world again, which is so cool. We all know this. I do all my one-to-one sessions via Zoom. I use Zoom. I teach all my classes via Zoom. I do discovery calls, and this links to my scheduling software. So when someone books a call for me, I just link those two features together, and it's all set up. So whatever that is for you, I prefer Zoom. Listen, to get into Zoom, you don't always have to pay when it's a one-to-one thing. It's when you start teaching classes and bringing more folks in where the payment is. But I feel like Zoom's price point is pretty easy, but you can get going for free. Okay, so this is something I want to touch on, which is automation. I, a couple years ago, spent so much time thinking automation was my number one priority in my business, and I was using Zapier, which is why I moved into Acuity. Conversation gets a little more nuanced, but I switched to Acuity because it worked with Zapier and Calendly didn't, and then it was all these things. Essentially, it's like how I used it in my business was when someone booked a service with me, they would immediately get an email that says, like, a personal email feeling, thank you for booking, this is how you can rebook, this is what to expect, and it feels very personal. And then another one would link up like a couple days before their scheduled appointment and so forth. What is cool about automation is you don't have to be like by your computer right when someone books with you to send them like a personal feeling email. This kind of automation works for you. It's a quick response. Your computer's doing it, but it feels personal, and you move through it through automation like Zapier. My cons to this are it's a lot of time setting up. It can be a little fussy. If one thing's off, the whole thing's off. And frankly, if you're newer to business, you have time to add a personal touch to the people who are coming in for your services. Now, you can build a template email and just adjust some of it in it, but I would suggest if you are in a growth in your business, to be mindful of automation. Like with Acuity and Calendly, you can add some custom automation to like remind people of appointments and like when they book and all this stuff. So you can use some of these other platforms to communicate and make folks feel really good that they booked with you versus going into automation and it not always working. And even like the other automation I had was like when they were done with their session, they got a series of these emails and all the things. And frankly, now I just have it booked through Acuity. They get their custom email, they get their reminders, and then I send them a personal email after the session with me. It's so much simpler. So I want to let you know, because I spent so much time focusing on automation and not focusing on connecting with my community, which is where the real beautiful expansiveness of what we're doing is connecting with our community very deeply. Last thing I want to touch on is surveys, testimonials, and feedback. This is your type form. This is your jot form. I always ask for some type of survey, feedback, plus a testimonial with all my clients. It's something I like. It really gives me an idea of what I can improve on, and it also gives me testimonials. I am all about gaining testimonials. It is a huge part of what I like to show in my business, because folks do want to see the kind of like transformation and growth that my clients are receiving from working specifically with me. I like Typeform. That's what I use. I would say it's a little bit on the pricier side, and every time I think about kind of getting rid of this, I just like it. It's like such a cute way and simple way for folks to get back to me. I'll also use it like sometimes when I'm doing a new iteration of some business services, I'll send a survey out to like a handful of my clients and my friends and folks that I think might benefit from the next thing I'm creating and send them a survey. So it is very helpful. So what I want you to think about is, where is your business at currently? Where do you want to grow it to? What's the next thing to add in? Because all these tech options take a little bit of time. If you think you're gonna, upload an Acuity program and next week have it going like perfect, isn't the case. You do require not a lot of time, but a little bit of window to build out your personal services, test it out a little bit. So remember, add one tech tool at a time. What's the most important? What's the next thing for you? Is it getting a Zoom? Is it getting the scheduling platform? Is it time to build a course? Like, what is the next iteration in your business? And I really want you to look at the monthly budget of what you want to be spending on this business and what is already part of the where you're at right now and how much you want to allocate back towards your business. As you grow, you can keep, there's so many more things to grow into, but we really want to be mindful about what we're spending as we're growing our business, because we want it to be easeful and easy. And part of it is knowing what we're spending monthly on our business. And what are your clients asking for? Do they want a course? Do they want like a membership? Do they want one-to-one with you? High touch, low touch? What is that? And then move into adding this into your business. This was like a nice little short, sweet episode. I really want you all informed on next steps to take in your business and how to grow thoughtfully. And there's so many things out there to purchase and buy. And there's some things I've scaled down on because I realize I want to connect deeply with my community, and I don't need all these whistles and bells. I just want a clear funnel for folks to come be in my world so I can share my growth, my wisdom, and help you all grow in not only your business, but your self-development, because that's what ultimately we were here for. Whew. Can't wait to share another episode with you. I've got some really fun things coming up. This class, essentially, it's a human design for business class. It'll be launching very soon. I'll keep you in the loop. In the meantime, hope you're having a beautiful day. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying my podcast.